Hello, and welcome to the Surging Forward broadcast, where we're helping you to have a positive view in a negative world. My name is David Valentine, and I'm here to help you see the value in the job you do and how you can keep surging forward. Well, hello again, and welcome to the Surging Forward podcast. By the time you're listening to this is probably the first of the year. Matter of fact, I'm recording this a little bit before New Year's, but you're probably not. It's not going to go out until actually New Year's Day. So, wanted to kind of get this out and actually wrap up last year and look forward to this year. And so that's why I kind of titled this one here as to what is your outlook? And I'm basing it, still based, I had done a survey a while back in one of the Facebook groups, actually quite a few of the groups, and just ask a simple question of what is the biggest hurdles that you encounter in your career, or more specifically in the trades, actually. But these things apply even if you don't have a trade job, even if you're working a regular job out there and working on your career. So it applies overall, because I thought these responses were very interesting. And, you know, I hear these same things across the board. So I'm going to wrap up that. We talked about last week about, you know, knowledge and, you know, what can you gain and, you know, education and how you can grow yourself. So, but this week we're going to talk about what is your outlook and how you can make a difference with that. Before I go on any further, I want to, if this is your first time listening, I want to welcome you to another great year. I have really been excited about some of the things that's going to be coming up in 2018. I've hooked up with some great people out there. I'm looking forward to do some great interviews this year. One of the biggest things I'd like to do is I wish I could do a podcast one. And if anyone knows of one out there, I'm trying to figure out how I can create more time. That's kind of like my biggest issue lately. But, you know, all in all, I'm getting a lot done. It's all going well. And so I just want to appreciate, you know, all the responses I've gotten over the holidays and the different things like that. It's really been a great encouragement to me as I'm making a lot of heavy decisions and doing some great things for myself surging forward. So if this is your first time listening, again, this is a place where I try to provide a way for you to keep surging forward. And it's basically creating a positive view in a negative world to keep you surging forward. So that's the whole thing there. And if you ever want to find out any more, we do have a website at www.surgingforward.com. And there you're going to find a lot of courses. I'm hoping to get some more up there this year, but mostly what's up there right now is if you have a tradesman license and you're looking to get your CEUs for your state to renew your license, that's mostly what's there right now. We're looking at getting some other ones up there and been working on those kind of hard, so I'm excited about that, getting some leadership courses up there. You can also check it out at the surgingforwardpodcast.com. We have a separate website for that where if you want to share just the podcast with somebody, whether they're in the trades or not, or if they're just looking for a way to grow in the trade. I'd love for you guys to share this. We have grown exponentially. I think I've almost quadrupled the growth over the past year. I see all the downloads come in, and I'm like, wow. I can't really see, you know, who's doing it, but the statistics, whatever you want to call them, they kind of tell me where and so forth. And we're just about in every state. I'd love to get in every state. That would be a hoot. But we're getting real close, and I appreciate those of you that have shared the podcast. And show a friend what a podcast is. Again, we have weekly episodes, and now we have so many episodes out there, you could probably sit there all day long and just listen to that instead of listening to all the negative stuff on the radio now. So, again, a lot of good stuff out there, and you can go back to listen to any of the past ones. I would also, another thing I'm really asking from all my audience out there, most of our networking and the stuff that I do to help others, it seems like Facebook is one of the best mediums out there. A lot of you guys and women and those that are in the trades are on. And so I really want to try to help you guys as much as I can. And we're really starting to get a lot of likes on our Facebook page, the Surging Forward Facebook page on Facebook. And I'd really love to get over that 500 mark. I'm excited about the 360 something that we already have, but I'd really like to get over the 500 mark. That would really be encouraging. It's taken us, we've been growing quite a bit, like I said, over the past year. And so again, there's no charge for this stuff. It's not like, I'm charging money out there for some of the stuff. Yes, I do charge a little bit for some of the courses and so on, but my email and my contact information is there. If you want to friend me on Facebook, many of you out there have contacted me and just asked private questions of how to do this or how to do that or how to deal with some of the hard issues you have to deal with in the trades. So I am an instructor for the apprenticeship program. I don't like to get into a lot of technical stuff a lot of times online because I save those for the courses. But if you do have an issue, let me know. So I'm looking forward to serving everyone in 2018. I have to get used to saying that now. But let's get on with the show here. So what is your outlook? And like I said, the question I had asked, I simply asked, what are the biggest hurdles? And between, gaining knowledge and different things like that, and this one here was another biggest one, is the outlook on how we deal with things. So I'm just going to go through a couple of these, and I'm kind of address them on a personal issue here. And if I happen to mention your name, I'm not going to mention any last names, as I don't want to, put anybody's name out there without permission, of course. But I have one of the first ones I want to talk about, and I kind of put this at the top of the list. And it's from Chris, and he's from Electrical Tricks, Tips, and Discussion. It's one of the Facebook groups that are out there that I'm into. And he said one of the biggest hurdles is people skills and people management. How do you motivate individuals when they don't want to be motivated? Well, Chris, this is one of the big ones here I like to answer all the time. It's a very simple answer to this one. You can't. If a person doesn't want to do something, we can't change their mind. Now, what you may be able to do with somebody like that is say, hey, here's some benefits. It's just like for me, as much as I would love for everybody to listen to this podcast, I can't make anybody listen to it. Now, I can put out reasons why. I can try to give a positive note and say some cool things every so often and offer even some giveaways. We're looking for that this year too. I'm gonna put together some swag. I guess that's what they call it. I'm hoping to put that together, some shirts, different things like that with the Surging Forward message on there. So if you're interested in that, pop me a line also. But getting back on the motivation, I can't make anybody do anything. All I can do is show you the benefits of what will happen when you do. And the best thing as far as people skills, it's treating people the way you want to be treated. And I'm going to tell you right now, as an individual who's been in the field for going on 40 years now, it's, I used to say 20, and I don't know what happened. I kind of skipped over 30, but it's been about 35 years now. And it's one of those things. I've always tried to treat people the way I want to be treated, but that does not always mean I'm going to get treated the same way. My friends, there's a lot of times I've been treated like crap, and I have to choose. Everything's about a choice. You'll always hear me talk about choices. When you make that choice, when somebody treats you bad, to snap back at them, you have chosen to go down to that level. Now, I'm not saying to get stomped on or always picked on and just take it. No, sometimes you just remove yourself from the situation. There's no need to be around people who are constantly negative all the time. Surround yourself with people who want to excel. You are who you hang around with. That's really the crux of it. And so if you're in a leadership position, there's a lot of different ways you can use to try to motivate people. You give them an advantage because if you do a good job, you're going to make more money. You're going to be called upon maybe to do more overtime. You're going to have more opportunities to learn because people are going to be more willing to teach you if you show an interest in the field. But if you have a bad attitude, who wants to teach a person with a bad attitude? I don't even want to be around that person, let alone teach them something. I used to get really upset in my classroom setting a lot of time. I mean, granted, I've got guys that fall asleep in a class sometimes. I got guys that show up late. And you know what? It used to be a big deal to me. I used to get really offended and get mad. Well, nowadays, I really don't care. If you choose to come to the class and just fall asleep and, don't participate, I really don't care. I already have my license. Now, I'm going to give you the benefits and I'm going to tell you what's there, but I've already got a good career. I've already done well in this trade. I have, for someone without a college degree, I have done very well. And I know many other people that have done well also. Nothing against college. It's a great thing. But you can do well in the trades. And it's very important for people to understand that. But you have to apply yourself. You just can't sit around and wait for people to give it to you. You've got to go out and get it and take a little bit of motivation. And I tell people nowadays, if you just simply show up for work on time, that's going to go a long way. And people are going to respect you and be willing to teach you. So, again, it's just a matter of trying to treat people how you want to be treated. And don't hang around the negatives. And if somebody doesn't want to learn, well, hey, that's their choice. It's not your choice. Don't take it personally. Some people just don't care about their lives, and there's not a whole lot you can do about it. I've tried to change those kind of people, and you really can't. I've pretty much, not that I've given up on them. If any of them ever come to me in the future and they say, hey, Dave, I need some help, hey, I'll help them out. I'm always there to help somebody out. But I am not going to chase you down to go help you, because that's just a waste of my time and yours. So there's the answer for that one, Chris. Hopefully that gives a little bit of answer there. Also had a very interesting one from an old friend of mine, Dustin Seltzer. And he said something very interesting. He said the thought that money equals success. He said he's found that he's a lot happier leading crews in the field than chasing money and running my own company. Being a good electrician has become my only desire for success. But I think a lot of companies measure success by dollars, and it creates more conflict and missteps when that's the case. That's absolutely right. When you're constantly just looking at the money and you're just looking at the now, you're not thinking about tomorrow. My friends, the money will come. As an old friend of mine says, there's a couple of mentor groups that I'm says, if you're doing what you love, you're going to make plenty of money. If you're enjoying what you're doing and you're trying to excel and do a better job, the money will come. I got into a conversation with a person. We were talking about pay raises. You shouldn't have to ask for a pay raise. The money's going to come, or you're going to be able to find other ways to make a dollar. So if you're constantly just saying, hey, I got to do this because, you go up and you ask your boss, hey, I need to get a raise. Well, why do you need a raise? Well, because I have a house payment. I got a truck payment. I got 2, 3 kids at home. Well, the company has nothing to do with your house. They didn't buy your house. They're worried about making money themselves, and that's true. So, it's one of those things. If you're making the company money by doing a good job, they should be able to see the skills that you have there. And if they don't, my friends, another company will, and they're going to offer you more money. So again, it's about the choices that you make. It goes back to the first question I said. It's about the choices that you make. So if you love what you're doing and you're constantly trying to do a good job, the money's going to come. And that's where the success is going to come into play. I have another one here from John, and he's from the Electrical Elite Group. And he basically said attitude and the fact that big money comes without hard work. Oh, I'm sorry, he's not from the Electrical Elite. He's from the HVAC School Group. So, yes, I am in quite a few groups here, and I always enjoy the interaction that I get and just hearing from people all over, because we all have different experiences. But, the HVAC School Group. So, John is absolutely right here. So many come into the trades, and they go, wow, I'm not making that much money. I'm only making, 12, 13 bucks an hour. But you don't have the experience yet. It takes time to get that hard work, and you have to learn. And it doesn't come overnight. And let me tell you what I tell my apprentices a lot of times. So I tell them when I first started out in the trade, on a scale from 1 to 10, I was probably running, because I was always a hard worker, so I was running about a good 5 or 6 just starting out. I mean, I was in construction as a young guy, so I got into the electrical field after I got out of the Navy. But I was like, wow, I got this. This is cool. When I got out of the apprenticeship program, good grief, man, I was on a roll, man. I was running about a 7. When I became a foreman, all of a sudden I realized, wow, there's a lot more to this. So I didn't grow any. I stayed about a 7. I still learned a lot, but my knowledge level, I was like, wow. Then I became a project manager or a superintendent and a project manager. I instantly dropped down to a 6 because I realized there's so much more out there. Now, as I also became an instructor. As an instructor, I went, wow, there's so much more I need to learn because now I'm teaching. So right then I'm at about a 5. Now I'm an inspector, consultant. I do multiple fields. I do pipe work, concrete work, as far as inspecting and checking things out. I still teach the electrical, work in various fields. And I realize on a scale from 1 to 10, how much do I know? I'm telling you, my friends, it's still running about a 4 or 5 because I'm constantly seeing that there's new things out there that I don't know. That's the fascinating thing about the trades. No matter what field you're in, whether it's electrical, HVAC, plumbing, carpentry, any kind of construction, brick masons, concrete work, rebar, you can constantly keep learning more. And I don't care what career you're in. I don't care if you're an engineer. I don't care if you're a banker. I don't care if you work at Walmart. There's always something new. I'm really screwing up my words. Always something new you can learn in any business, including retail, including whatever you happen to be in. Because, see, if there was nothing left to learn, that means you know everything. And if you know everything, there's no reason for really you to be doing the work. You should have tons of people working for you and just making tons and tons and tons of money and, sitting home not doing anything. And, of course, life would get kind of boring then because then you have nothing else to shoot for and no other hope to do anything. So really not much left if you really think about it. So we're always trying to learn. And this is where I saw the Electrical Elite Group. I always got to give kudos to my friend Ryan Jackson out there. He said one of the biggest factors out there is your own attitude. And Ryan's a great guy out there. He does a whole lot out there for the electrical industry. So I want to give a shout out to him there. And, he's constantly willing to teach others, and he puts his views out there, especially on a lot of these Facebook pages. He's always a go-to guy, and he's been around. He's done a lot of work in the electrical industry. He's been on some of the code-making panels, different things like that, and he's always been a great asset. And so he's kind of like my go-to guy sometimes when I need to ask a question about something I'm not sure about. So one of the other things, a friend of mine, he's also in the Electrical Elite Group, and this is Dan Hurich. He made a comment, the apprehension created by society's attitude towards the trades. He's another great instructor in the trades. And, that's a big one. That's a hurdle we have to deal with. So what is our outlook for that? We have to create a better outlook for the trades. The trades get a bad rap from the industry, out from regular people, because take a look at the movies out there. How do the movies depict the trades? They depict us as a bunch of bumbling idiots sometimes and, guys that don't make any sense. Either that or they're ripping people off. One of the two. You don't see movies or shows about successful tradesmen. Unless, of course, you look over at the stuff that Mike Rowe puts out. I love his show, Dirty Jobs. Fascinating show because he shows that those guys that do those jobs behind the scenes, they're valuable. And they're actually some of the most important jobs that goes on. So I always like Mike Rowe's, talks about the trades. And one of these days, I'd love to interview him on this show. He's been one of my influencing people, and I follow his pages and look at his sites. And you got to look at the great things he does for the society in general. He's always trying to help out his fellow man, helping out the veterans, and such a great thing, and helping those in need. But he's always been a forefront, a voice in the trade. So with that, and all of us out there, we can change that society's attitude. And so the way we change it is by doing honest work and being integrity. Those of you that do service calls, very important you keep that honesty and integrity out there in the field. And when somebody needs something big done, give them an honest quote. When somebody thinks they need something big, don't take advantage of them. Give them the truth. Be honest with them. Say, look, I don't know what this other guy told you, But here's the problem here. Don't allow other people to rip off other people. We should not tolerate that in the trades. And if we start fleecing our own in the trades, and those that want to rip people off, they're not going to want to be in the trades. I always find it crazy. People just think they can go into contracting business and start remodeling kitchens and don't have to have any qualifications, and they just run in there and do a ramshack job, and the poor client doesn't even realize how messed up and screwed up they've done their kitchen. Don't get me started on that. So quality of work is very important. So make sure that you're working with honesty and integrity. That's how we should be looking ahead for 2018. Make sure that you're treating someone else the same way you want to be treated. Just like what I talked about in the beginning there. So I also want to talk about another friend of mine, and I see him on Facebook quite often and very big in a profession, is a person named Fred. He talks about there's a lot of obstacles depending on the personal goals and a willingness to apply yourself to the knowledge required. This is universal for all trades and professions. That couldn't have been said much better. So, you have to have a goal. You have to know what is it that you want to learn. And you have to be flexible and learn how to listen to those things also. So many people, again, they walk in and they want to come in and just automatically do everything. Well, you have to understand there is a seniority type of thing in the field, and there are people that are willing to teach you, but you need to learn to humble yourself and be open to learning those new things. And also, too, you got to come up and, you got to work hard. And sometimes, you got to pay your dues, but you got to do that in any career. Every career has that. It's not just the trades. You start out at the bottom and you work your way up. You don't start out in the middle. You don't start out in the top. Look at what I said about my scale. I started out thinking I was in the top, and now I am at, I don't want to say I'm at the top of the food chain because that'd be very prideful, but I've been around for a while, and I'm kind of at, I know a lot of people at the top. Let me put it that way. But I still feel like I'm still kind of in the middle because I've always got more to learn. And I would, many people, I've been called an expert before, but I'm not one of those that say I'm an expert. I know some experts, and I am nowhere near as smart as they are. So working on it, maybe one day, but right now I'm just enjoying the learning phases, and I don't think any of us will ever quit learning. So we just have to take that one day at a time. So a couple other people were saying some things on HVAC Pro Talk. BJ, Danny, and Nicholas, all of them said, just be yourself. Just be who you are. You are special in who you are. And so am I. I am not you. You are not me. But that's what the cool part about it is because that's how we learn from one another. Each person has different attitudes, and they're, maybe not, we should all have the same attitude. We should have a positive attitude. But each one of us have different traits and strengths that we can learn from for each other. And then Christopher kind of brought it all together in HVAC Pro Talk. He said mindset. What is your mindset? And then pulling it all back together again, Andy said humility. Being honest with yourself and knowing where you need to improve. So if you're being yourself and I'm being myself, and people like Ryan and some of the other people are all being themselves, or you're working with somebody out there who, is real and honest, that's how you can grow. Because you have traits that he doesn't have, and he has traits that you don't have. And so that's how you come together and you create that new mindset, which creates a positive attitude, and then you can constantly keep bettering yourself. But it all starts with, like what Andy said, humility. So just bringing it all back together, that's a real cool thing. And I wanted to address one other thing. From HVAC Pro Talk, one of the individuals talked. His name was Miles. And this is one that kind of got me. He said, being young, co-workers used to question me all the time because I was just some young kid. I proved to them that I knew what they thought, and they stopped questioning me. Being young in a trade is hard, even when you have to deal with the customers sometimes. Don't let that stop you. I started out very young in this trade. Matter of fact, I had my own business when I was only 26 years old. And so being young is not a bad thing. The humility part is what helps you. Being willing to talk to people and understand and work with people. Sometimes being able to be laughed at and take a joke. Don't get so offensive all the time. We live in a world where I don't understand why they're so uppity. People pick on me all the time. Now, of course, if people picked on me 24/7, all of the time, yeah, then I might get a little aggravated. I'd say back off a little bit, leave me alone. But hey, it's all in fun. Lighten up a little bit. So, don't let that stop you, because I'm going to tell you, and I'm telling you this from experience. When I was younger, I used to put the beard thing on and try to make myself look older. And then I went through a time where it's like, wow, I look old. So I shaved all the beard off, and I, kept a clean shaven face. And now I got the little Fu Manchu going on. But I don't know. I may end up shaving that off pretty soon also. Who knows? Might have to take a survey to see if it looks any better, if I should shave it off or not. That's kind of a joke I'm doing behind the scenes. But don't let you down, Miles. Continue to strive to keep surging forward, because you're in a perfect position to absorb so much information in today's world. So, again, I want to thank each one of you for taking the time to listen to this. And I hope that it's been a little bit of a benefit as you start the first year of your success. This is 2018. You have an opportunity, and I usually don't like to date my podcast because, if you listen to this 10 years from now, it's like, wow, But it doesn't matter. You can start right now, no matter where you're at in your life. Make a choice. Make a choice to say, hey, what is my outlook? What am I looking forward to? What is my outlook on life? What is my outlook on my career? Where do I want to be in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years? And you know what? Figure out what you need to do to get there. There's a lot of people out there willing to help you, but not too many people are going to want to help you if you don't help yourself. So take that step and learn what you need to do. And if you ever need anything, hey, drop me a line. Again, you can check me out on Facebook. Look up Dave Ballantyne. You'll see me there on Facebook. And also, if you want to check out my LinkedIn account, just look up David Ballantyne. You'll see me on the LinkedIn account there. And I'll be more than happy to connect with you on LinkedIn. And just look me up there. And, of course, the Surging Forward page on Facebook and surgingforward.com. Multiple ways to get a hold of me there. If you want to drop me an email, my email is dave@surgingforward.com. It doesn't get much easier than that. I'm always willing here to help anyone out who wants to try to excel and keep surging forward. So again, my friends, I'm going to wrap up another episode here. I want you guys to have a great week. We're going to be back next week with another exciting episode. Stay tuned this year, guys. There's a lot of cool things going on. Make sure you're sharing this podcast with friends of yours. Let's continue to keep the word out. I'm going to tell you what, I am enjoying this. This is exciting. It's actually gone worldwide. I do have a couple people listening over, worldwide and different things like that. I just got a phone call, or not a phone call, but an email from a guy, and it was kind of cool. So, but anyhow, if you're listening, thanks for the email. You know who you are. But hey, take care, my friends, and God bless, and keep surging forward. Have a great one. We're going to be talking soon.